Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Nurul Ashifa. I'm from 5th class. Okay, now I would like to tell you about interpretation of data. First, I would like to tell you about what is the definition of that interpretation of data. Data interpretation refers to implementation of process through which data is reviewed for the purpose of arriving at an informed conclusion. The interpretation of data assigns a meaning to the information, analyzes and determines its signification and implication. The importance of data interpretation is evident, and this is why it needs to be done properly. Data is very likely to arrive from multiple sources and has a tendency to enter the analysis process with haphazard ordering. Okay, next material is how to interpret data. The interpretation of data is designed to help people make sense of numerical data that has been collected, analyzed, and presented. Having a baseline method for interpreting data will provide your analysis teams a structure and consist foundation. Indeed, if several departments have different approach to interpret the same data, while sharing the same goals, some mismatch objective can result. Okay, the next is the main methods of interpretation of data. The first is qualitative data interpretation. Qualitative data analysis can be summed up in one word: categorical. With qualitative analysis, data is not described through numerical values or patterns, but through the use of descriptive context. Typically, narrative data is gathered by employing a wide variety of person-to-person techniques. This is the technique of qualitative data interpretation. The first observation, detailed behavioral patterns that occur within an observation group. And the second is document. Much like how patterns of behavior can be observed, different types or documentation research can be coded and divided based on the type of material they contain. And the third is interviews. One of the best collection methods for narrative data, and query response can be grouped by term, topic or category. And next, and this is the second main method of interpretation of data. Second is quantitative data interpretation. If quantitative data interpretation could be summed up in one word, that word would be numerical. There are few certainties when it comes to data analysis, but you can be sure that if the research you are engaging in has no numbers involved, it is not quantitative research. Quantitative analysis refers to a set of process by which numerical data is analyzed. The next material is, and this is the statistical of quantitative data. The first is mean. A mean represents a numerical average for a set of responses. When dealing with a data set, a mean will represent a central value of a specific set of numbers. And the second is standard deviation. Standard deviation, this is another statistical term commonly appearing in quantitative analysis. And third is frequency distribution. This is a measurement gauge the rate of a response's appearance within a dataset. When using a survey, for example, frequency distribution has a capability of determining the number of times a specific ordinal scale response appears. Frequency distribution is extremely in determining the degree of consensus among data points. And the next material is why data interpretation is important. The purpose of collection and interpretation is to acquire useful and usable information and to make the most informed decision possible. From business to new with researching the reverse home, data collection and interpretation provide limitless benefit for a wide range of institutions and individuals. And data interpretation problem. The oft-repeat mantra of those who fear data engagement in the digital age is big trouble. But that statement is not accurate. It is safe to say that certain data interpretation problem or pitfalls exist and can occur when analyzing data, especially at the speed of through. Let's identify 3 of the most common data misinterpretation risks and shed some light on how they can be avoided. The first correlation for our first misinterpretation of data refers to the tendency of data analysts to mix the cause of a phenomenon with correlation. It is the assumption that because two actions occur together, one causes the other. This is not accurate, as action can occur together absent a cause and effect relationship. The second is confirmation bias. Our second data interpretation problem occurs when you have a theory or hypothesis in mind, but are intent on only discovering data patterns that provide support while rejecting those that do not. And the third is irrelevant data. The third and final data misinterpretation pitfall is especially important in the digital age, as large data is no longer certainly stored, and as it continues to be analyzed at the speed of truth, it is inevitable that analysts will focus on data that is irrelevant to the problem they are trying to correct. Okay, I think enough. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.